May the 4th be with you. Attack of the Clones, Deluxe R2, 20 years, Episode 2. It's time for a little bit of droid action. Wouldn't you agree? Why, hello, folks. Danoby2 here, and thank you for joining me once again on another visual tour. I was debating on whether or not to cover the R2 from Attack of the Clones, but I gotta say, though, the excitement was overwhelming of the beautiful art box, the whole anniversary of Attack of the Clones. Even though we're about a year late, I couldn't resist. This is unique. This is a very unique piece. Tons of accessories, beautiful art box. Even though I've gotten the Clone Pilot and the Clone Trooper, to me this is probably the start of the actual anniversary. But before I get into R2, though, I want to focus on the real gem in this collection, right? The real valuable gem, the teaser, wouldn't you say? The head of a protocol droid, specifically C3PO. This is it's crazy. If you've followed me throughout the years, I studied this head for quite a bit. I had to really cut back on time because I wanted to see what direction Hot Toys were taken in the construction of the die-cast Attack of the Clones. This is different. This is very odd. It is plastic, right? I'm hoping that the actual head for the Attack of the Clones is die-cast. The whole design, everything here is just a bit odd, though, because they're using a single bulb for a rear projection type effect. And the eyes have sort of like a sticker on them. And I kind of panicked inside because I'm really hoping, my God, I hope they don't adopt this R&D to the final version of the Attack of the Clones C3PO. This is just a little bulb here that I had. It's a 3-volt bulb, and you can kind of see how one bulb is just illuminated. There are some benefits and there are some disadvantages to this, though, because it lacks, how do you put this? It lacks 3D. The whole idea of a protocol droid's eyes is that there is actual depth. Yes, it's a mask, and the photoreceptors on there should have, how do you put this? It should have depth. It should have more detail, and I'm hoping that the diecast version does. Now, the photo you see up there is the Bandai Tamashii C3PO, and you can kind of see, looking into his eyes, the 3-dimensional depth that you get into it. Now, I get it. This is the construction semi-version of C3PO based off Attack of the Clones, and he does go through modifications as the films move forward. But I'm a little bit worried. Now, this, for what this piece is as an accessory being towed behind R2 in the Attack of the Clones, I think it works. I just hope it's not what we get for the diecast version of C3PO, which I know it's inbound pretty soon. What you saw there was the palette of R2's arms. I think it's overkill. I think it's fun, but I think it's overkill to pose R2 with all of those mechanical arms. Is just it's too much. To me, the real gem of this particular figure in R2 is the rocket thrusters. This is what made him stand out in Attack of the Clones. And I'm looking at these pieces here, and I know for a fact that I can solder and kit bash these thrusters with LED bulbs. I actually have the right LED bulbs that'll fit inside these little thrusters with the blue exhaust light, which I know I can do it. The question is, do I feel comfortable in drilling? Because I'm gonna have to drill in R2, and I typically I've never shied away from modifying my Hot Toys. If I want to do something, if I want to cut into something, if I want to drill into something, I typically do. But the problem is that this specific R2, Attack of the Clones, is sold out already. I'm not kidding. This thing is sold out everywhere. Even the local comic book shops and Alter Ego and a few others and Forbidden Planet and so forth, they're all gone. So this is the only R2 I have, and I don't want to chase this in the secondary market. So that's something that I really, really have to consider. The magnet on the actual head, I feel it's a little bit weak, and I wasn't aware that the actual magnetic coupling there was going to be displayed by a steel rod, right, or a rod that was very rigid, because it doesn't seem to hold its tension once it's inside R2. Once you set it and you pose it into that exact look as seen in the film, it does look really cool. But to me, that's not the most memorable look of this specific R2. I'm just looking at his dirt and dust, and I mean, he looks like he's been through the shredder here. It seems as every time Hot Toys releases an astromech droid, I mean, they just keep wringing it and dirtying it and weathering it. I'm assuming by the time we get to the Revenge of the Sith R2 unit, he's going to be clean, because even C-3PO gets a complete major reflective overhaul. I missed out on the R2 MMS651. That is the last deluxe, the one that has the little battery pack. I missed out on it. He's too expensive, and I never went back. I never chased him. To me, it was just no. So as I'm studying this R2 unit, my only experience with an R2 unit is based off what I got off of the Force Awakens. So everything here is new to me. I've never seen any reviews. Like, I'm looking at this port here for a lightsaber, which is really cool. I'm studying the design because at this point in time, I own, what, 3 astromech droids, specifically R2-D2. So this is my first deluxe Hot Toys version of R2, and I'm very, very happy with it. I'm just blown away by the amount of details. And again, even though he comes with a ton of tchotchke mechanical arms, my ultimate display of this specific figure will be in flight mode. And because he's sold out everywhere, I had always planned on modifying him. I was always confident that I can plug him. I can, like the power source there, where he uses 3 of the button cell batteries. I know I can hack that into a 5-volt USB plug. But again, because this is already a chase figure, meaning he's already worth more than its retail price, even on the secondary market. This son of a bitch is already breaking $400. That's on the good side. Anybody that missed out on this, thoughts and prayers. And because this is my only R2 on this one, I'm going to say in this video, I'm not going to modify him, but I may change my mind. Again, for me, it's tricky to modify something that as soon as it's arrived, it's already worth more than its retail value. And I always tend to cringe a little bit if I ever want to damage anything. I've never been a big fan of the remote control. It only works by line of sight, and 80% of the time it works, and then every now and then it feels like you've missed. And I honestly wish, I kind of wish that the sound and the lights were all touch sensitive, which is something that we did get with the Force Awakens R2. It was where you can activate the lights. But in this one here, this is a big a surprise for me, because I can only turn on the lights by the remote control. Heaven forbid if I ever lose this remote control. And I've already done the testing where these remotes are not swappable, meaning I can't use the Force Awakens remote control from R2 on this one. Whether or not the MMS651, the last R2 Deluxe remote, works on this one, I don't know. Again, I don't have it, and I'm not moving backwards, and I'm not paying a chase price on them. R2-D2s all go into chase price. If you are a brand new Hot Toy Star Wars collector, heed my warning. If you are in the market to collect the droids or protocols or whatever, they're all gonna blow up either in a chase and eventually double into a grail, and it's gonna piss you off if you didn't pre-order. Now, I'm gonna play around with the actual thrusters here, and just studying it and looking at it, I know I can run because I have the 30 millimeter gauge wires that are super thin that I can kind of micro drill through the legs, and I know for a fact I can USB hack this R2. Again, it's one of those situations where he's so pretty. Like, I'm in love with this thing. Again, I really wasn't even planning on doing this review, and I'm just blown away by it. I think it's friggin' fantastic. Everything about this thing, even the protocol droid, and then the final look of it in flight mode, is just awesome. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I don't know if I like this. You know what? Maybe it just dawned on me. Maybe I have him backwards or something. Huh. I'm having him float on there, but it does look like he's kind of launching like a little rocket. I guess you can flip him backwards and forward and so forth. Yeah. Yeah, this is a big hit for me. Now, all of these arms here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of time lapse it here, just to kind of show you, and I super sped the footage here. I did not enjoy this. I really did not, and I also am not a big fan of the magnets, because certain of the of his arms are attachable only by magnets, and they're just weak ass magnets, and you have to be very careful, and if you touch them the wrong way, the arms tend to fly off. Honestly, I'm a bigger fan of the arms actually built into the R2 unit, but I understand that it tends to limit how many arms you can attach and so forth. But I mean, I guess it works if you don't care of the attachments and how certain of the arms may or may not fall off. To me, it's, I would prefer them just to be embedded into the actual astromech droid. And this is just me going hog wild here with the extra arm in the back, even though I know it doesn't. No, it doesn't. So I do want to focus on, I want to go through my little history here. So you see you have my 4 astromech droids, and just for a quick review purpose, I really do love the Sphero. The Sphero R2, I think, as far as lights and sound and so forth, I think is A+, and I think they missed the mark by not having it in 6 scale. So for this purpose of just overseeing on my R2s, this Sphero fortunately has to go, even though I think as far as sound and movements and everything, just rocks. But yeah, he needs to go. I love this little guy. They missed the ball by Sphero. They really missed the ball by not making him 1/6 scale. Now you have the Sideshow R2 there, and then my favorite one is actually the Tamashii Nation's Bandai R2 here. This sucker weighs close to 3 pounds. It feels like he's been machined out of a solid block of steel. I love that it's push button lights and push button sound. I don't need a remote control. Next to him is the Force Awakens astromech droid R2 with the remote control that only activates the sound. This R2 has the touch sensors on his dome. The only thing that I would really have wished for the Attack of the Clones R2 is that they would have incorporated the touch sensor. Even though, as far as this is the Sideshow version on there, it has a old school touch sensor. To me, the touch sensor just works. It's one less thing to worry about if you ever need to bring an astromech droid on location for a photo shoot. It's one less thing to haul around with. If I don't have to bring that controller, because I have. You folks know that I've taken some of my astromechs, I've done photo shoots out in the desert, and if I don't have to bring the remote, I would prefer not to. But ultimately, out of all 4 of them, I would say the Attack of the Clones R2 is number 1, the Tamashii Nation's Bandai is number 2, Force Awakens number 3, and the Poor Cousin Award goes through the Sideshow R2. I have him around for shits and giggles. I've always been annoyed. Even when I reviewed him almost 10 years ago, he's always been annoying. But ultimately, it's the Attack of the Clones R2 is by far the best one in my collection. I love them all. They're all my kids. Well, this is it. This is my droid unboxing, a little bit of history, a little bit of my collection. And I hope you good folks out there were able to score your Attack of the Clones R2, because he's gonna climb. He's gonna be $500 eventually, and it's gonna suck. He's not worth $500. Like, subscribe, leave your comments below, and as always, thanks for watching.